Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. For the tarot, I'm using Wild Reflections Tarot by Spell. I think I'm saying that right. There's a couple things with it. There is this QR code, I think is what it's called, with some information on it. So feel free to freeze frame on that if you want that information. There's also the website on the back, yspell.com. So if you want to see that, you can freeze frame and get that information if you want it. Yspell, I think, is down over here somewhere. Okay. For the Oracle cards, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. I want to say the websites are here in the back. I'm pretty sure there's a Colette Baron Reed website. I don't know if it's at the bottom of that, though. I thought I already had this out. There's the illustrator information there. If you want it, feel free to freeze frame and check out what you would like to see. And then ColetteBaronReed.com. Yeah, it's in the back of the book. There we go. Hopefully that's focusing so you can see it. Okay. And I use dice as well. I use a 22-sided dice. I replaced 22 with 0 for the major arcana. And then I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana. And I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element of the minor arcana. Math Art Fun. MathArtFun.com. Hopefully you can see that one too. Through that bag. MathArtFun.com. If you're interested. That's where those dice came from. Okay, with that being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get into your reading. Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Gemini? We got a saucy card. Where's it going to take you? This one moment is going to be a little bit sticky. That's weird. Okay. You already know what you want. Do you? Yeah. The history of this situation, Six of Cups and the Queen of Wands. No, Queen of Cups. Cups. This might have been a very whirlwind romance. There may have been one in the past. It doesn't have to be romantic, by the way. When I say whirlwind romance, it could be a job that it kind of felt like that. Could have been a monetary situation where it was here today, gone tomorrow. Could have been a job. I keep getting that, where I moved ahead, might have moved ahead quite quickly. It was great for a minute, and then I had to leave. I know what I want. It could have been literally a romance, though. You know, it can take on its own flavors. Whatever it was, I feel like it came, it was great, and then it left. It wasn't permanent, but it was great while it was there. And I feel like I really liked it. Maybe the other person liked it a lot too, but for whatever reason, it couldn't continue. Whether it be situational or a person. Okay? Could have been a friendship, could have been a really close friendship, could have been a few different things here. But that's the general feeling of the situation. Now, I got the word betrayal. I don't know where that came from, but something is quickly approaching again. And I'm questioning, could this be what I want it to be? Could this be another moment like that? Could be with the same person, somebody else, same situation, some other situation, whatever. I feel like I'm questioning it. Like, could this happen again? I would love for it to, but is this real? I feel like I'm waiting. I want to move on it, but I'm waiting. I seem to realize there's a lot of information flying at me all at once. And I need to be very careful about how I discern that. I don't want to jump too quickly, because while it was great while it was there, whatever it was, it did end very abruptly the same way. The same way it started was the same way it ended. The way it started was the same way it ended. Does that make sense? I think I said it better the second time. So it's kind of like... I don't know if... I've never heard this saying before, but the way it comes in is ill-gotten gains never last. Is that a real saying? I don't know. Ill-gotten gains don't last. Something like that keeps coming in. It's like, and I'm holding back and I'm watching. I'm like, is this going to be... Am I going to get this for the wrong reason? And if so, does that mean it has a shelf life? Because whatever it is, I want to keep it. I don't want to just visit. I want to live. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to just show up and stay overnight. I want to move in. I don't want this just for a moment. And the Two of Swords in this deck is it's very like a precautionary tale. Because you'll see that this person has an arrow drawn, but they also have a blindfold on. Which is interesting, because a lot of times when you see the Justice card, I feel like there's a blindfold over the lady's eyes. Like, Justice is blind. And I feel like what they're warning is, like, there's a lot of things in this situation that are not coming to light fast enough for you to make the correct decision. If you wait too long, it will pass you by, but maybe it should. That's the question. So whatever it is, the moment isn't quite there just yet. I don't think it's going to pass you by. Give it a little bit more time to show you what it's made of, whatever it is. Be it a person or a situation, however it seems to add up, give it a little bit more time is what they're saying. Because I understand, I respect it. It's kind of like, I don't want to miss it, though. Makes sense, but they're saying, yeah, there's more here you need to know. And there's a lot coming in with it, with this Ace of Wands. You know, like, there's a lot flying through the air. It comes in, hits fast. Speed seems to be a very big piece of the Ace of Wands in this situation. That's not Wands, is it? Swords. Ace of Air. Ace of Air. I keep getting like a fiery feeling to it, though. I don't know if it's supposed to, but maybe it's because of the way the tip looks. I feel like it's like information coming in really fast is how I keep feeling about it. The next phase is like there's a moment where there needs to be a choice. The Death card comes in. It feels like it's very dramatic. There's a lot coming in, a lot of emotions at play. But there's changes coming in here. Somebody else is going through an upheaval. I don't think you are. In fact, it's not showing up in your line, but there's like an upheaval here. Somebody else is going through an upheaval. And it's kind of like seeing it like it's a seasonal thing. It's kind of like I don't see the Phoenix card out here, but it reminds me of that. Like, you know, it burns bright, burns out, crashes to the ground, rejuvenates, burns bright, burns out, crashes to the ground. Like, it goes through that cycle. And I'm kind of getting that with these two together. Kind of like, is this something you want to be a part of, is what it's asking you. Because it's very alluring, it's very tempting. The advice, which you can take or not take, obviously, is to not see this for all its good pieces. Hunt out those darker sides. Not in the sense of poo-pooing it. Hunt out those dark sides and make sure you're okay with them before you get involved with this. You might get involved with it anyway. But, like, it's not saying hunt out the dark side and, like, see this in a dark light. Not like that. Hunt out those dark sides to make sure that you're at peace with that when those dark things come your way. So, like, for example, like, if this was a romance thing and you find out one of the dark sides is maybe this person has a history of some type of substance abuse or other types of problems or financial downfalls, or, like, could be they have past relationships where they have property or children or something tying to other people. Make sure you're okay with that. Make sure that how that plays out and how they handle it, you're okay with that. Because it's going to come into play and you're going to have to deal with it. Same thing if it's a job or situational. Whatever's good is great, but when it goes negative, like, is this a job that has mandatory overtime that happens more times than not? Is that something you really don't like? Is it something where, you You have to travel whether you want to or not, and maybe you don't like that, stuff like that. The advice to do with it is literally what I've kind of already been saying it, but like, make sure that if you're going to choose it, that you've looked at all the dark and the light. It's made up of both. Whatever this is, it's made up of both. And you're going to get both. It's not just made up of it, you're going to get both. Make sure you're at peace with that. Whatever way you choose to be a part of it or not, make sure you see it. There does seem to be some point of disappointment here. I get that. But like, as long as you know what you're getting into, you'll be fine. Because I get like, as soon as if I commit to this, it feels like for a lot of you, you're gonna. I feel like it's the pain of the reality of it. Because the darkness comes in very quickly of what I have to deal with. So, if you already knew that that was there, as soon as you step in the arena, it's kind of like you're prepared for it. Doesn't mean you like it, doesn't mean you want it, but you're prepared for it. It's a stressful moment, it's a hard moment, but that will happen. If you're prepared, you're going to be okay. It's stressful. The Ten of Wands shows up in the environment with the Ringmaster of Scrutiny. A lot of this all happens at once. It won't last forever. I don't think it's going to last that long, to tell you the truth. Ringmaster of Scrutiny especially seems to be, somebody else seems to be stepping in and taking control of it. Before you know it, whatever the situation is, you don't seem to be effective with it. So any ability you thought you were going to have or hoping to have in this situation, it doesn't last very long. I don't feel like I'm very effective here. Tower comes in, things go upside down real fast, and I feel like I'm stuck on the outside. Okay. I also noticed this here. This web weaver energy is kind of like a lot of people talking. There's a lot going on here. A lot. And people are not letting you in on something that they seem to know a lot more about. I don't know if that's good or bad, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of chatter. I keep getting like, if I just do this one by itself, because I keep feeling like there's something else going on here. However you came into this situation, you seem to be labeled as a certain type of person. I don't think that that's quite right. I keep getting that. It's weird how this one just keeps coming in that way. Five of Pentacles, again, and then the Wheel of Fortune. So people will not let you into this situation, and they're deciding what you're about before you even get a chance. So keep that in mind. No matter how I try to... it says divine intelligence, synchronicity, cause and effect. I just feel like people are like doing all this outside of you, and you can't seem to get in no matter how hard you try. This situation, because of that, might not last. So I almost feel like this part, they're saying, you've already been down this road. And it's kind of like, if you see it for what it is, maybe you can just pass this one on by if this doesn't seem like it's something you like. I feel like you'll naturally, research it yourself to see if this does fit or doesn't fit. So keep that in mind. Research it yourself, see if it makes sense. I feel like also if you go into it and you look at the darker sides of it, instead of just falling for this Ace of Cups feeling, because this is saying this isn't quite right. This is what you're hoping it is. This is not what it actually is. And when you research a little deeper and you see those darker sides of the situation, I feel like that might kind of change your mind where you're like, that's kind of brutal. I don't know if I really want to do that. So you might kind of sidestep it that way. Does that mean this type of situation won't come your way again? No. No, but it will come around again. You will have another chance for this type of situation, whatever it is. But they're also kind of like telling you, be careful. Be careful because it will come around again, but you don't want to be desperate for it. You want to always step back, evaluate it, make sure you actually want it. Whatever this is, it has a very, very tempting allure to it. It reminds me of if you have a certain dessert you like, or if there's a certain meal that's your favorite meal, or it reminds me of if you have a certain relative that makes, for example, this one dish, and you're like, when that relative makes this dish, oh my God, it's just perfect. And it has this like, oh, if they made it, I definitely want it type feel. Like there's just this temptation to it. You definitely will get a chance to get what you want at some point down the road. The trick is to not be desperate for it. That hungry ghost's energy is like, it's kind of trying to highlight it. It's kind of like for you to step back and decide for yourself, am I hungry for it? Am I really desperate hungry? Or am I like, I want it, but I'm more like, let me step back and think about it. If it's meant for you, you won't have to be running at it just because it shows up. You know what I mean? So if this was romance, somebody smiling at you at a stoplight, like, doesn't mean you have to chase them down and try to get them to pull over so you can get their phone number. Because if it was that close, it wasn't for you. Same thing, if you meet somebody in a supermarket, you say hello, and they smile back. If you have to work that hard to get their attention, it wasn't there. It'll show up in its own time. So it's like you do realize you have time to step back and get what you actually need. It will actually work for your life. So I feel like they're just giving a heads up. Be aware that, yeah, more opportunities will come. This one isn't the last one for you. But just be aware of your own energy. Because I feel like we all hit those moments sometime in life. Sometimes younger, sometimes later, sometimes at different times. And we just get caught up in this situation and we're like, oh my God, I was just doing that. And that literally never gets me what I want. If it's for you, you can step back, you can breathe, and you can make a calculated decision in the proper timing. If it makes you feel like you have to move now or never, that's I feel like that's a red flag. Just heads up. Yeah. Because when the right one comes in, whatever this is, doesn't have to be a romance, job, whatever it may be, when the right one comes in, it's going to feel comfortable. There's not going to be a rush. It's not going to be out of desperation. It's going to, like, the other side's going to want to connect with you as much as you want to connect with them. If you're doing all the work, by the way, that's also a huge red flag. Like the size of a football field red flag, I'm just saying. If you're doing all the work, giant red flag. Keep that in mind. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.